when we return, people are dying, and
Well then.
when we return, you have gathered, all of you, in his Alex's most secure boardroom, or maybe you are just in the staging area, whatever you want to call it, where the tree is at the moment. But you guys are there, and Victor is there, and a new face to some of you. He's just like a ninja with a short cloak, and he has a curved sword that is never, well, it's not in his hands but at the moment, but he always has his hand on the handle. And he's just looking very keenly around on everyone entering, like he's scanning every single part of you.
Alex is going to, welcome everyone and introduce Darius and his position as new sheriff, and say that he has at least submitted a preliminary set of qualifications that seems to me to be enough to qualify him to take on this position, at least initially, and that he shall be monitoring his progress, and that he hopes that everyone, he's going to look at Victor pointedly, and he hopes that everyone will be able to get along with this individual who is joining our team. In a very kind of corporate speak, like, yeah. So, yeah.
He does not mention, or he does not frown or anything. He simply gives a slight nod, like, of course he's gonna be able to behave civil. And he fetches a woman for you. As you said, Regina Blake is here. She's Caucasian, has short blonde hair, and is wearing a blue ballroom dress, of all things. There's a ghoul following her, a man with he has only like a bit of hair on top, but like to the side, wears a bit of makeup. It's a very, very nice blue silk shirt and leather pants with some extremely expensive shoes. Leather shoes, looks handmade. And she's just walking in, ignoring everyone but Alex and Prince.
Miss Blake.
I'm so happy to finally meet you.
The pleasure is mine as well. What brings you here today?
Well, Victor said that you might need a woman of my capabilities for your new court. As you know, I've been serving Queen Anne as Keeper of Illusion for quite a number of years. I have my fingers in a lot of pies, and I know a lot of people.
I would like to speak with you privately about that, but I will certainly take you up on your offer. Is there anything else that we need to consider before the group here?
She's thinking about it, and she says, "That's, I believe, entirely up to you, sir."
And he says, like, good. I look forward to talking with you about the ways in which we can expand our operation here and accomplish our goals. And he's communicating that he doesn't really want to talk about this with everybody else present, and she's made quite an entrance of herself, but he'd rather not discuss that here in front of everyone. So he says, then I look forward to talking with you, and if that is all, thank you for making your appearance, and I will reach out to you at a later time.
Do you have your permission to hang around the bar downstairs? It was quite beautiful.
Indeed, and there's a number of wonderful and delicious items on array usually, and that you may avail yourself of course, with the usual discretion.
She nods and smiles. This is a woman who is saying all the right things and doing all the right things, but meaning none of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But her etiquette is flawless.
Yeah.
She gives us a slight bow again and pulls up in her huge fucking dress that is shaped like that. She's dragging it almost after her. But not really, because her gold is holding it up as she's walking. Very gracefully.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Almost like he has celerity. And the elevator goes down, comes back up. You hear a loud voice, the loud voice of an Irish man. Everyone knows Gabriel. He's just talking with someone. Adrian, you see? It's just, what do you mean you can't do that? I thought everyone did that. No, Gabriel, everyone does not. That is a very you thing. And she just walks into the room like she is quite annoyed, and nods at everyone. Prince Kairos.
Adrian. Gabriel.
Killjoy, she's averting your gaze. Gabriel just walks up and wants to shake your hand. He looks around at people. He's trying to figure out what's decorum.
Alex is going to stand up and meet his hand and shake it, and say, I don't know whether you take it or not, but you seem to. Beer's in the fridge over there if you want some, and please make yourself comfortable and let me know if there's anything else that any matters of concern that we need to discuss today. We don't, of course, need to stand on ceremony or go through all the formalities that my predecessor has insisted upon. I'm sure that we are all quite familiar now with the ranks that we have here, and you've shown enough respect here already.
Gabriel opens a beer, takes a sip. He seems to be really enjoying it. He says, I do have concerning news, but he looks at Darius. I don't know if it's for everyone's ears.
It should be informed if it's news that concerns our security and safety. If it is not, then he can be dismissed.
Well, it's about Marin. I believe she may be compromised at the moment. Not as she's not betraying you or anything like that. She is. He's looking at Adrian. Says, distressed. And you hear a voice coming from nowhere, but then he appears. Henry. She's fucking crying her eyes out, man. Gabriel just looks at him and shakes his head, like that was not what he was supposed to say.
Do you feel that this is a matter of safety and security, or do you feel that this is more of a personal matter?
Well, I don't believe she's gonna function very well as a scourge at the moment, so.
Okay.
Gabriel says that. She is, I don't know what's wrong. I've never seen her like that, but I can't really talk with her without fear of destruction and being staked. She's,
yeah.
I've never seen her emotional before, and this is extremely
Do you have any idea at all about what's the source of this is, what the cause of this is? It sounds like she's a little bit dangerous, at least to you at the moment, because you can't speak to her without threat of your life. So I just want to make sure that we don't have some potential problems here, obviously.
I think as long as we don't pry.
I think we need to pry. With all due respect, it sounds like she's not in a great way, and I want to make sure that that doesn't develop into further problems. So, what can you tell me, Gabriel, without the requisite prying that we might need to do?
She is, and Henry interrupts. She's a fucking lovesick teenager.
I already have one of those. Just kidding. All right. Can you say more, Henry? Like, you seem to have a lot of information here. I would like actually to know what's going on here. This is quite unusual in terms of the business we usually deal with.
I don't know what happened exactly. I just noticed a change in her behavior and have been watching her. She's a hot woman to follow, on account of jumping through shadows and all that shit, and not appearing on cameras, and, you know, but she's not immune to rats, so.
Do we think, gentlemen, that this might have something to do with the recent disappearance or exit of our one of our esteemed colleagues, Nathaniel?
Nah, I don't think so. She was not close with him. They had an understanding, but he roughed her up a bit, like a few times, because the whole Sabbat thing. But I don't believe it's that. I haven't heard anything from Nathaniel or any of the others for a while, but I only have the reports from my rats, and I mean, I'm keeping an eye on everyone. Kind of what I'm, you know, here for. But I have
premonition if I could.
Yes. Are you trying to focus in on Mirren?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to... Remembering how this works is fun each time.
Do a rouse, and the roll is.
I am hungry.
You feel that hunger again, and that craving for Vara's soul return. Just for a moment. The beast does not speak, but it just leaves you with that emotion. Well, yeah, resolve aspects. Two. You're in complete darkness, and you just hear a woman sobbing, and then a scream, a carnal scream, which takes you out of it, and you're back in the room. You didn't see anything, it was more sounds, and that blackness, that shadow you're very familiar with. And a lot of pain. Abandonment, I think, is the closest thing you get to it. Henry says, well, I have other news.
Indeed. Sure, please.
I've burned about 10 computers these last 2 weeks trying to get into antigens. They're quite good. I can't be in there for very long, and I have to dispose of everything afterwards. It's quite
formidable.
Well, it requires a lot of resources, sir. It can be done, but not for long.
Okay.
But if I know what I'm looking for, it helps out. But it's yeah, I've made progress. It can be done. We can get in there if needed.
Excellent. Excellent. Please continue to do that. I will supply you with the resources you need. We can work that out. Obviously, that we need to know all their movements and have as much information as possible. But I know that they're at least making it difficult for you and perhaps presenting you with a delightful challenge. Yeah, I would like to make sure that that continues. So.
Well, they're MI6, so I didn't expect it to be easy, but I like the challenge.
Indeed, and I trust that you are equal to it. Yes. If there's anything I can do to assist you on this, or if there's anything that beyond just providing you endless amounts of servers and resources here, I'm happy to do that. If you want to bring that to my attention.
Don't worry about that, but I might need that boon soon that was offered to a lot of you. But the only thing I can tell you right now, it's a university server, and I'm trying to figure out how to get you guys in there without issues.
Indeed. Once you know more, or do you know which university we're talking about here?
Oh, the main one, but it's not the university. It's just a server. It's not even located on a premise, but
I see.
It's for scanning documents and things like that, keeping a digital record of everything. But there might be things in there that the kind have gathered that could benefit us. Arthur seems to be very interested in it, so
I am interested as well. Like I said, any amount of information that could help us with that particular organization we will act upon. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and I want to make sure that we preemptively act on that information as we have it without wasting time. I don't want to give our opposition such as it is any more time than they already have to act against us again. We've already seen how effective they are at causing us problems. So, yeah. So any information you have about that is actionable, that we can work on, consider it done. I will move on that. And on that note, he would like to, turn it over to everyone else in terms of any items that they need to, that we as a coterie should or could act on for the benefit of those members present and the Regnum in general. And, he's kind to see Vaughn and yes, Vaughn.
I was told there were going to be drugs here. That's what it said in the text.
Is that what it said?
You muted, Naomi.
Sorry. That's me. Let me know when you have free time. I have something for you.
She's got you.
Excellent. Hell yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Are there other matters of concern that we should discuss? Any potential objectives we could pursue here as a group, help each other out? JK, I assume that you are aware of the fallout from a particular incident that we were involved in a few weeks back.
Yes.
Are we dealing with that in a way that maintains the stability and lifeblood of this city? He's like,
I mean, the Knights of St. Leopold are probably trying to deal with it as we speak. I don't see why we should also invest in it.
Okay. Is that going to come back to us in some way that you can deal with? Or I just want to make sure, because you've seen the news, and while it might not be an immediate concern, I feel that it is something we need to keep an eye on and pay attention to, and perhaps you could let your your sire know about that particular problem.
That I may, but when it comes to dealing with them, unless you know how to punch ghosts, I can't really help.
That being
Yeah.
said, she looks at KJ, and does one hire priests? How do you how do we do mass exorcisms here?
I've never really had to delve into mass exorcisms. As always, I know someone. Only one person, really.
We just need to clean up the place. It's fine. I don't.
Victor, he pulls out well, not pulls out, but he grabs a picnic basket and puts it in front of you, Vaughn.
Ooh.
Payment. Inside it is a bottle of white wine, a tray of strawberries, and a crystal skull with fangs that you have seen before and work with. The skull of deception.
Ooh.
It's yours, as promised.
Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you, my friend.
He simply nods.
Did she like the kiss from a rose? Did she like that? Did she think about it?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was amazing. I've never been such a place.
Hell yeah.
You can of
Anytime
course
you
hear
need it again.
all of this.
Anytime you want to do that again, let me know. I got the tools now. And he takes the basket and he kind of like puts it on his person, basically.
It's very creepy looking skull, completely transparent, and it does not look physically possible to make it. Kind of like a big carved out, completely crystal clear diamond of a skull that seems actual human size, but with fangs.
So she
How does
seems-
it? Oh,
Go
go
on.
ahead. Oh, how does it work exactly? I just put it in there. How many times can I use it?
Mechanically, you do your whole illusion Fata Morgana thing. You do it on that, and then you can trigger it later. It stores, but it stores one illusion at a time. But you can prepare the illusion in advance.
Ooh, and how long can it last? The illusion last for?
Until triggered. Or do you mean when you trigger
Like the
it?
time? Yeah. Like when it's activated, how long can it last? Until the illusion will end.
Until you turn it off. You can, in theory, have a whole house appear and just let it be there and be a house. And as long as people believe it, there will be an actual house there. But you need to
move. Okay, sorry.
if you design it to move, then yes.
And
But-
if I carry the illusion, if I carry the skull with me, can the illusion, is there a radius around the skull that it works?
Yeah. Exactly. It has quite a large area though. You
Hell yes.
did a whole warehouse, so made a beach and everything. Of course, for it to be perfect, you would have to do I believe six successes to get all senses into it. The illusion, yeah.
Man, mages, man. Woo. That's some good stuff right there.
Naomi sees the exchange with Vaughn and is all of a sudden like the most awkward she's ever seen before, and then just because she doesn't normally get flustered, she's pretty very cool to the emotion, but she's like, you can't. She's muttering, but like the thing over, just she's trying to get Vaughn's attention for a quick minute. Yeah? Okay. She's like, I just wanted you to lick the tree and see what happens. If you need me to light a candle, whenever you're free.
Do you give
That
him
thing?
do you give him some of the sap?
Basically, more or less, like I didn't want to harm it because I don't know what potential power it has. But like she doesn't know anything about the species before, but she knows there might be like a metallic or like a pearlescent substance to the sap of the white resin or whatever. So she's like, I need you to lick the tree to see what happens.
You want me to lick that tree?
Yeah, you said you like natural drugs. It's all I know is because it's probably extremely hallucinogenic, and I figured this is your jam.
Oh.
You might need
And
to smoke it.
Vaughn-
I don't know.
And Vaughn kind of like looks over at the tree. Storyteller, does my beast have any reaction to this? Like this experience? When I look at the tree?
Well, we're actually in this boardroom type thing, so the tree is not actually there.
Yeah.
But the
no,
sap
in the
is
other
there.
room.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh sure, hell yeah. I guess I'll give it a try.
Usually, you know that other people would have to imbibe it for it to work, but you smell it, and yeah, it's not something you smelled before. You do not have heightened senses, I believe, so
No.
it's planty. That's the best word I can use for that.
Earthy.
And when you inhale the smell of it, you feel something in your nostrils, and for a moment there, you see Vaughn's eyes go wide, and it's just a second, but for you, Vaughn, it's about 20 minutes where you're sitting in a field with your sire, just in the sun of all things, and having a delightful day out, a delightful day you know never happened, and then you return feeling like you've been away for 20 minutes in a completely different life. For you guys, it's just like his eyes go wide for a second and then nothing, and you didn't imbibe it, you simply inhaled it a bit.
And he looks like dumbfounded at everyone there. Is there sap that I can see on the thing?
You're having the vial in your hand.
He just looks wide-eyed. And he goes like, drinks it.
I
Naomi
think
stares at him, taking notes.
It's like,
a stamina and resolve roll is appropriate here, Vaughn.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay, stamina. Resolve. No modifier.
No modifiers. 1
Ooh.
with the beast. That's not relevant right now. Vaughn becomes very stiff, like he goes into torpor. But he's on the floor with a smile, kind of mumbling to himself. Not being very coherent or anything like that, but he seems to be in a trance of some sort. In a happy trance. He's gonna be out for a while, and for you, Vaughn, this feels like weeks of your life. Like different moments, you're just on a journey here. A spirit journey through the universe, and visiting all the things you used to love and the things you still love, and you're amongst the stars 1 second, and then you're standing on the moon looking down on the earth, and talking to weird things you've never seen before, pixie-like beings, and it's like you're in a different dimension. What are the rest of you guys doing while Vaughn is on the floor having a good time?
sorry.
It's falling.
I'm not hearing you, Naomi.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
With Naomi in her nurse outfit, she kind of like offers to like put him in the bed, just pick him up and like just let him be for a time being. But she doesn't really. She hesitates because the last time she touched him, he did something to her. But was like, I think he's fine. He's used to this shit, I think, by now.
It's clear you said that Naomi is taking notes here, like furiously scribbling like symptoms and effects here and everything like that. You know.
She's 100% interviewing him once he's done.
Yeah.
His entire body is completely stiff. You can feel he's in torpor, but his mouth is moving and he's talking, which is the weird part. Like almost like he's speaking in his sleep. But his limbs are as stiff as your guys when you sleep during the day.
Yep, that's Vaughn, and Alex he's going to look over to Darius and like, this is a normal occurrence. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, they have the Rodnos have their strange ways, but they are quite adept at what they do, and
this one likes to experiment a lot with certain things, and
I may be a judge, but he's not breaking any of my commands right now.
Indeed, but this is not uncommon to find him in this sort of state of being. Alex is going to turn to Killjoy and say, how has your situation been the past couple of weeks? I haven't heard too much from you, I don't believe.
Well, you instructed me to lie low.
Indeed, and that's as it should be. Yes, we all have been kind of busying ourselves with other things lately. But I'm just checking in because I do recall that you were dealing with certain challenges before, and just kind of seeing if anything has come of those or any developments have been made.
The manifestations that you're referring to have continued somewhat, but they are developing, but under control, definitely. And in the meantime, I have been able to continue on several other projects that I believe may aid the city, the coterie, and myself.
Excellent. It's good
First
to hear.
of which was one that may interest you, actually. I'm putting together a couple of spare identities, should we wish to partake in anything else of a clandestine nature.
Indeed.
And I thought it would be best to request from you first images for yourself and the rest of the members of our coterie for use with these, and any finishing details you may wish to add to your false identities. They should be good enough to pass Scotland Yard checks, certainly, but the more detail I add, the better, of course.
Indeed. Sounds good to me. I am going to go ahead and say that you'll have the resources you need in order to make that happen. I see no, even though things are relatively and at least pleasantly, mostly uneventful right now, I do suspect that they will not remain that way, and there's no telling when we might need the identities you speak of. So I appreciate you working on those, and you shall have my resources to facilitate the creation and finishing and completion of those.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you wish to know?
Frankly, if I'm being honest, and he turns to the rest of the group as well, it's like the silence is a little bit disturbing. We've been on such a it's been so back to back lately that while on one hand it's a little bit, it's the peace is welcome. It is also it makes me a little uneasy. So,
Gabriel, he says, I believe they're just waiting to strike back.
I agree with you. And that's what makes me uneasy. I don't like that. I don't like not knowing, you know, while those arrayed against us are preparing and, you know, preparing their next move. So he's going to turn to Henry and Killjoy and anyone else in the room who can do this. He's like, I do want our efforts stepped up on in making sure that we keep an eye on that we are vigilant with Antigen, as well as with any other groups that we feel any other threats that we feel.
Adrian says, I believe if there's anyone you care about right now, just stay away from them at the moment. The mortals, I mean. They actually have some power over them and can arrest them and get to us that way.
And indeed arrest us, as we've already seen, for no particular reason whatsoever. So that is good advice indeed. And given that I have the identities of so many of those folks, I trust that I've already put out efforts to make sure that they are informed, where possible, to at least.
Henry says, I have eyes on everyone's haven 24/7, and even during the daytime, if anything happens, alarms will go off and security measures will happen.
Yeah, the point is those folks will be protected when possible, as much as possible. Not guaranteeing, of course, but insofar as we can. Rather than being used as leverage, we want to make sure that they are protected. So,
Naomi kind of looks at Victor a little bit horrified, considering they just visited one of his very cared about individuals that morning, and just like more or less just hoping that she'll be okay.
He smiles at you like everything's okay.
Yeah, sorry, morning to a vampire, sorry.
Yeah. He's just smiling, like you don't see worry on his face. You don't know if it's for your sake or his own, or if it's the truth though. Unless you want an insight.
Why not?
Alrighty then. And you can do it with either wits or intelligence.
Okay.
And he is all the way down here.
I can't remember. Does she get to add aspects to that roll?
Yeah, anything with you get your heightened senses on top.
Yeah, is Auspex, would that be a 2 or a 3?
2, I believe, yeah. And your difficulty is... What did I roll here?
Not great.
Not great.
Yeah. I think she's successful. Victor's not able to hide much of anything at this point.
It's for himself.
Okay.
Creating your own illusions and that kind of thing. As he said earlier, sometimes I'd rather not know. But yeah, you see the worry behind the smile. He looks up and he looks very focused for a moment, and he looks at you and JK and says, do you feel it as well? Can you do a premonition roll for me? No Rouse. Four is quite good. You're in the clouds, thunder clouds at the moment. A storm is brewing, and you have the feeling of something on the way. Something familiar, and then you return to the real world with the question of, do you feel it as well?
Something's coming here.
So it's not just me. You see Darius, he looks at you, Alex.
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to check it out? You just
I would
not
like that if you feel like you have any leads on this. Yes, absolutely.
He pulls on his hood. You see the ski mask looking thing. And he disappears from sight.
I'm not saying this out loud, but Alex is going to think it's great that we have a ninja in our employ now. It's fantastic that we have one of those on our team. So, yeah.
Henry is just saying amateur.
Indeed. Is it clear that JK had a premonition?
Yeah, you see the white and the eyes when he does it.
JK, can you tell us anything more about that, or what you saw? I know that you sometimes peer into those realms.
Something familiar is coming.
Is there anything more than that we can get information on? What it feels like?
A storm is brewing.
Is this an electrical storm, or
Something we should probably be worried about.
Who knows? Maybe a red lightning will hit again.
Does not take long, and then Darius appears again. I've found someone, sir.
That was fast. Tell me more.
Well, she's sitting in the bar, very relaxed. Black-haired woman, very, very cold look on her face. She's wearing a plate mail, sir. A black plate mail. There are no guests in the bar at the moment, but the bartender does not seem to know what to do with themselves.
No doubt. Well then, shall we go meet these people?
I could fetch her if...
Okay. Go ahead and do that. She doesn't have anybody with her?
No. Well,
Okay.
besides a giant sword, but no.
Is sword being concealed? Like,
No, it's on her back. And she...
Can Alex see JK's reaction there? Like there looked like there was a reaction. Can he actually notice that? Can I do an insight roll there? Is that something I would be able to see?
Are you trying to hide it, JK?
No, in no way.
Alright.
Just an annoyance.
Yeah. But yeah, he disappears the normal way, walking out the door, and
Do you know this individual, JK?
No, it just seems like we're getting medieval up in here.
yeah,
Indeed.
that's what I'm thinking.
Indeed.
Alex, you because I assume competence, you check a look at the security cameras.
Indeed. Yeah.
Every area is suspiciously vacant of mortals. Like they have just disappeared. I mean, they're in the rooms and everything, but it seems like they're just... Well, she's not technically breaking the masquerade or anything like that. She's simply... There's one scared bartender that has noticed her, and that's it. But everyone else seems to be not there, apart from your night staff. Well, you see Darius go down, and you can see them talking, but not hear it. And he gestures towards where he came from, and they come upstairs. And you see Elaine wearing a black plate mail with a bastard sword on her back, looking very medieval. Her hair is tied in a bun. She's wearing no makeup anymore. She is paler than usual, and her eyes are very, very yellow.
But she's recognizable.
It's Elaine.
Yeah.
Just not the Elaine you remembered. And there is he has his hand on his sword the whole time, but she's just entering the room and saying, "Evening, been a while."
Evening, indeed. And his eyes are going to flick over to Gabriel, because Gabriel usually associated with Elaine. And like
He just looks at her and says, "That's fucking badass, girl."
Okay.
It
I
is.
haven't seen you dressed up like this before, Elaine. You're quite conspicuous dressed like this. This is a little bit more Renaissance fair and less, downtown London. So, not to insult you or anything, but you can clearly see how you would be making an impression and standing out among the normal people here.
The mortals do not see a plate mail. It's special, and then as she says that, you notice there's no rattle of metallic rattle or anything. It's completely silent, like she's wearing a shirt.
And then the next question: is there a reason you're coming into my place so armed?
To pay that boon I owe. Each and all of you. Well, at least trying to repay the favor.
Indeed.
Nathaniel is out doing his thing somewhere in America right now, and Scarlet is, well, she's weak, so I don't think she's gonna survive her training. But I have been made Archon of a sort. The elders are trying to reach an agreement with Mithras. So we may have Camarilla return to Avalon fully.
Indeed.
And I've been sent here to inform you that you are expected to hold a ceremony with guests and invite all the kindred of London, and I will show up along with other peoples of importance to seal your reign.
That's good to know.
It has been accepted. Nathaniel and I have spoken highly of you, and
It's good.
well, diplomacy is moving.
An Elysium, then.
A ball of some sorts. It's not really my thing.
Indeed. Well, certainly that was always going to be in the works, and something that I had suspected we would need to prepare for at some point, and I'm happy to do so. If you'll give me the names and personages that will be attending, their ranks and such, I will be happy to send them all the formal invitation that they would expect, and so that they feel invited, and make the proper gestures so that they are welcome in this new domain that is under Camarilla rule. So,
And of course,
Thank you for
these are trying times, so we must make sure that security is in order.
indeed.
And these are very important people gathering in one place.
Of course, and he's going to like rub his temples and be like, okay, all right. He's going to look over to Darius and basically say, yeah, and Henry and Killjoy and anyone else who can, lock down Victor, the security, that we need in order to facilitate this gathering in a way that is as secure as possible. Of course, it should be assumed that our enemies will know about this as well through whatever means that they have. So we need to be watchful about that too. But Elaine, will you be in attendance
Yes.
at this gathering? Okay. So armed, as it were?
I'll come dressed less for combat.
Indeed, indeed. But no less ready, of course.
I have, well, my grandmother was not joking, and our creation was illicit, but we were fortunately spared. Scarlet is not taking it well, but she and I have always been very different. But I felt like I still
Will
owe
she be in
it.
attendance?
I don't know.
Okay.
She is, well, being broken, as they say. The elders do not perceive humanity as a strength, it's a weakness that must be shed.
Not altogether unexpected.
And Scarlet was, well, perhaps the most humane of all of us.
Okay.
But I feel like I owe it to you guys to inform you directly, and also hide away his sword. He has convinced them that it's misplaced at the moment.
They're referring to my sword?
He nods.
I think misplaced is the wrong word there. And so duly noted.
Just not, don't wear it at the ball.
Of course, yes. Naturally, yeah. That's fine. Can go ahead and handle that. And like I said, it's my personal intention to make sure that they feel like everything is good here, that practice has been established, and that, we will receive the blessing of the Elder Council there to continue.
They were quite impressed with your retaliation against Antigen, even though some of them uttered concerns about its noisiness, but no, well, you didn't break the Masquerade.
Indeed. I'll just assure them that sometimes a few of our members have a flair for the dramatic. It is, if it involves smoothing over and assuring them that things are going well here, my biggest concern is making sure that they arrive and are able to depart without much of an issue. And that's what I would consider. It would draw more attention than I would like if something were to go wrong at this particular event, and would lead to more questions and more intervention, as it were, from the Camarilla, I would imagine, should anything go wrong with this particular event. So I would like to make sure that that is the case, that happens the way it does. Smoothly, lots of talking, respect and gestures given, parties on their way, and assurances that everything is just fine here in London.
They are going to test you, and because I owe you, because I'm not allowed to tell you this, but the Sabbat is moving from the east, closer and closer to London, and a part of your test is dealing with that before they arrive. You're supposed to figure it out by yourself, but I'm gonna give you a fair chance. because, yeah, again, I owe you. All of you.
Thanks.
She looks around the room. I wouldn't be here if not for you.
He's gonna write something on a piece of paper, fold it up, and then motion for her to come and take it.
She takes
And-
off her
Yes,
metal
exactly.
gloves and
Yes,
grabs
exactly. And hand it to her, and I will go ahead and put that in the private chat here. But it's just a personal matter between them. And so he will say, all the information that you have, I would like you to share it with our, security personnel here. Make sure that we are aware. Anyone else who has information on this about movements, very obviously, this is primary concern as well. It's bad enough that we need to worry about radical kind elements constantly coming up with new ways to test us without, of course, our own kind doing the same. So, but the Camarilla, I can understand their concern with us about in these times. And we've already seen evidence of conflict between them in Operation Antigen before. So, yeah. So any information you have about that, Elaine, is welcome. And I would like to hear it now, if not later on. If you have any information right now that any of us would benefit from hearing, please share.
Well, I'm not allowed to say much, but I would say look into Blackmore.
Got it.
And
Do I know anything about that facility? Should I make a roll or anything about?
I just want to, just 1 second, I want to make sure that it's actually the name I gave it. Because it's... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Yeah, Blackmore. And while you're looking at Blackmore, she says, you might as well look at a Lady Bethany Blackmore.
No. What do we know about Blackmore and Bethany Blackmore? Do we get to roll for that or anything?
Do it politics and intelligence, I think. All of you can do that if you want to.
Okay.
These are the rumor mill.
Sure. I am going to buff. So I'm going to roll a rouse check.
Gain a little bit of hunger.
Arr.
As you get hungrier, for a brief second, in the corner of your eye, you see Bradford walking past you. Just a tiny bit. Of course, you're composed, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And,
We can only reroll one. Naomi 1,
Yeah.
Killjoy 2, JK 2. Are we leaving it at that?
I'm gonna spend a willpower, even though it's only one dice. I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll.
3.
So that's 3. Yeah.
Killjoy and JK, you've definitely heard the name. You just don't remember anything about her. Alex, you remember a bit more.
Okay.
You heard about something with that she was being troublesome. And she apparently made a well, as far as you've heard, either a threat or a particular deal with Queen Anne some time ago. Some kind of truce, but it was quite the thing back then, you remember. People were talking about, like, how can she deal with Sabat and things like that. You do not remember the specifics of it, though.
Got it. Okay. Good to know.
Also, her address, you've seen before. Nathaniel gave you a piece of paper about Judith's sire.
Okay. So she may be connected to that as well.
And I think Killjoy can quickly find her mansion in Blackmore. Just doing a quick search.
Your guys' memes are fucking killing me.
I can't look because I got distracted.
Okay,
I have
you would.
Yeah.
It's like, is there more in there? No. Okay. Alex is going to, basically with Elaine, he is going to really genuinely express his gratitude towards her for this information, this heads up, about which he would not have had normally, and he is going to ask one more. I mean, so he said he's going to say, Elaine, given the way things are right now, am I to understand that you're going to act as a liaison with the Camarilla?
I'm essentially Archon.
Yeah. So you will. Okay. You will facilitate. I won't need to replace you or find someone else to do the job that you're doing right now. Yes?
No, I believe I outrank you currently.
No, indeed.
My prince.
Indeed. I understand that. But, here I am still prince. So, yeah. That's good to know. I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to find someone else to do the work that you are doing so well.
Oh, I will be your direct line to the elders.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear. So, glad to know that I don't need to also do that. So, okay. I do appreciate the information that you're giving me, and also the repayment of your debt to us. And if there's anything else you need to add, or anything else that we need to be aware of course, I'll take the timetable that we're working with, if you have it, so that I can make preparations for the arrival of our esteemed guests.
I will be in contact. If you need to contact me, she hands you a tiny scroll of all things with a number on it.
Yeah.
And she says, if you need me, just say you want to order the roasted crow.
The rose crow. Okay.
No, the roasted.
Oh, roasted crow.
Yeah, roasted
Okay.
crow. My bad.
Okay. Roasted crow. Got it. Sounds good. Sounds delicious, even.
She nods to every one of you and says, may I take my leave, Prince?
You are very welcome and dismissed.
There is
See you
Shosarat.
again soon.
There is Shosarat. And right on cue, like someone was listening, but staying out of earshot. You hear an owl
Indeed.
come through the balcony door. And she quickly turns into a woman.
Yeah.
Wearing a simple dress at the moment. Nothing fancy. I believe all of you have met Nera, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, me.
Nero, welcome back.
Hello, dear.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
You bring glad tidings, I suspect. Yes?
I do indeed.
Hmm.
I have verified the book.
Okay.
It is
Sounds
definitely the real deal, and a second edition. The spell that was on it is not from that.
I also suspected that as well. Yes. Yes.
But the reaction in conjunction with the spell was very much the book. What was supposed to happen did not happen.
Okay.
She very much protects us.
Good. And I trust that interest and that we shall be receiving more notice and consideration here for our work in London. That we have drawn attention to ourselves in a good way.
They were very happy in Budapest.
Excellent.
And some of them would even like to visit when, as they said, things calm down a bit.
Excellent. Yes. You know, when you are able, you may inform them, of course, that they are certainly welcome and we would like to have them here. So.
I have established a direct line of contact.
Excellent. Excellent. Are you familiar with the with our guest downstairs by the name of, and he's going to refer to Miss Blake. Does she strike any bells, any familiarity?
I know she was keeper for a long time. I know she's the daughter of Victoria Ash.
Okay.
Not really much else. I'm sorry. Politics is your field, dear.
I understand. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
And I lived quite away from London for the longest time, so.
I understand.
Vaughn, you wake up, by the way, during all of this, and fortunately you missed hearing about Elaine and that Scarlet is not taking it well, so you're oblivious to that fact still. But yeah, for you it's been months, and it's only been half an hour maybe for the rest of you.
Welcome back, Vaughn.
You're on the floor.
Wait a second. We will. What?
Nera, she crouches next to you and kind of like gently puts her hands on your face and like she knows that you're going through something, and says, "It's all right, dear. You're back to the real world."
It's been weeks, months. What? I didn't need anything the whole time.
She looks up at you, Naomi, and said, "What happened?"
Funny you should ask. Just kind of really glossing over Vaughn's face, and really kind of taking in that someone who continuously takes hallucinogenics for vampiric purposes is actually quite effective. And he seems conscious, coherent. She kind of really takes that in for a minute. And simply looks at Nira, and you're the perfect person to really be here in this moment. He sampled the tree.
There were creatures. I talked to them. They knew my name. And I Fata Morgana like some weird. You come up with
Absolutely.
Whatever you come up with, storyteller. But like, I talked to them. They were real, and then like it appears and it's some God knows what.
And to you guys, it looks like an acid dream. It's just weird shapes and flowing around across the stars and things that would be closest to like a leprechaun, maybe a pixie here and there. Things that are just, I mean, you're used to weird, but this is a different level of weird.
What did
Yeah, Naomi, take some sketches of the descriptions.
It's too fast. It's more like, and you see a face of something and it blurs into like all the colors of the rainbow and then turns into like the Milky Way and becomes a sun, and then you see the earth and it just blurs. It's just all one big like mesh of colors and shapes, and that creates like it creates visible, recognizable things once in a while, but for brief moments. And for Vaughn, it seems to makes more sense, but you're trying to like contain a couple of months of visions inside like just a few minutes. So
Yeah.
What was told to me by these creatures? Like, what could be even said? Like that they told me that we talked about.
like the reality you live in is not the only one, and the earth that you're living on, there is one predating it, and there are doors to different other parallel dimensions that exist on their own and yet not, and it's just very, very existentialistic and mind-blowing, and you feel like
It's been expanded.
yeah, very much so. It's sort of like a spirit journey, or yeah.
I get up and I run over to Alex. I grab him by his coat. There's a multiverse. There's multiple universes.
He's gonna be
There's
like
things that exist between the realms.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hey,
Naomi
he's gonna
writes
grab
down-
him. He's gonna
Yeah,
grab
go
him
on.
back and he's gonna say, I know, and we can talk about this.
You don't.
Yeah.
You haven't gone where I've gone,
Yeah.
man. I've seen it, man. The seams of the universe, man.
Is there a way to calm him down? Like, you know, can I?
But he seems like the feeling you have of Vaughn right now is, you know, sanguine. You're very happy and everything, but this is times 10. Like
Yeah.
this is like extreme happy emotions, because none of these memories or visions were unpleasant. You're happy the whole time. Actually,
It all fits together in like a beautiful mosaic. Okay, like it's like a back of a tortoise shell, with all these designs on it. You know what I'm saying? And there's layers. Like the turtle, it's got a skeleton. You know what I'm saying? That's everything.
Alex is gonna look at him in the eyes. He's gonna hold him. He's like, look at me in the eyes. It's like, I know, I do. And he's going to use he's going to persuade him. He's going, you know, if you want me to roll, I can. But he's basically going to like do everything he can to persuade him that he actually understands and he knows more than Vaughn may have assumed.
You're gonna have to roll for that because Vaughn is gone right now.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. So I am going to use persuasion here.
And storytelling, you could decide what works for
Yeah.
like, what amount is required.
Yeah.
it's well, Alex is trying to make you believe him.
Yes.
I think it's
exactly.
a wits insight, I think, for you, Vaughn.
Oh, so I have to roll against him?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Naomi
then
writes down ayahuasca-like experience.
Very much so. Very much so. It's like DMT or mescaline or something like that.
Oh my god.
Somewhat like DMT.
and I would assume this is manipulation and persuasion. Yes, for me.
Yeah, exactly. As you get hungrier again, Alex, you just for a moment you see Bradford. He's just in front of you, slamming the hands on the table and saying, "Just dominate him," and then he disappears.
Yeah. That's 5 successes.
He actually sounds like he might know what you're talking about, Vaughn.
Yeah.
there's some familiarity in his eyes. Like he has also seen things, and might be aware of the bigger picture here.
Yes.
That's right. It's your tree.
Yes.
You understand. You're on the level. You understand, man.
That's right. I do.
Oh,
and I definitely want to talk more with you about what you've seen. Absolutely. This is a it can be unnerving, right? It can be disturbing at first, but peeling back the layers and the veil, I understand that. But we can talk more about this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pulls Alex in close real quick and whispers,
yeah.
We don't have bodies there, man. We don't have bodies, man. We're not even spirits. We're something deeper than spirits, man.
That's right.
Something else.
It goes all the way back. Yeah.
The essence of
Cross time,
creation, man.
dimensions, absolutely.
Based on the reactions
He's like hugging him. He's hugging him.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Can Jake
Good.
tell if this tree is from any kind of occultist lore he's read throughout time?
No, not while researching or anything like that. This seems to be something, and that's also what you have discussed with Naomi. This seems to be something completely new and rather ancient. One of those things, but it's quite unique. And as you guys are talking, Alex, then Gabriel he snaps his fingers and says, "Speaking of crazy, almost forgot. Josh is weirder, and
I miss Josh.
I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, but he's not. Well, he's still doing his finding murder, but his new song titles Ancient in My Basement and They Will All Rise and Devour Us, they kind of worry me. First of all, he does not write music, but now he does, and
I'm always happy with new people taking up a music career. That works.
Just broke JK.
he's trying to find a hatch in my bar, and I know my bar. There's no hatch.
I would hope so, Gabriel. I would hope that you know your bar. Yeah,
There's no hatch. I've even had Henry check out the sewers below it and everything, and I have assured him there are no ancients sleeping below us, but he insists that there are, and I'm starting to worry that there might be just a tiny speck of truth to his delusions. He seems...
Bring him in. Bring him here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with our primogen here. Yeah, absolutely.
We need to see this.
It could be that an ancient is in one of the mass graves from older times.
Did you build your bar on top of a mass grave, Gabriel?
I don't know what's beneath London, but I don't know.
Oh, plenty of dead people. Trust me.
I didn't specifically choose to build it on top of an acropolis or something like that. And I have had Henry, and Henry nods. There's nothing down there.
Yeah. There's no levels that you're unfamiliar with.
Well,
you're sure about that?
No.
I would suspect you are, but I just want to confirm and make sure.
They go deep. And some places we don't even go.
I'm sure JK and I can scout out the area if need be, but I do need a conversation with Gabriel at any point whenever he's free.
Well, you can come along in the car and pick up Josh if you want to. He's gonna have to fetch him.
Let's do it.
Are you, rest of you, do you want to discuss anything like that, or do you just want to small talk and wait for Naomi and Josh and Gabriel to get back?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
He's probably gonna find some corner in the room, and he's gonna look around and feel the walls next to him, and then he's just gonna stare at the tree for a little while, and just kind of
Judith is studying you. Very much so while you do this and taking notes. She was into psychology when she was alive, and this is quite interesting to her. And Nera's also at a distance, but she's keeping a close eye on you, making sure that you're okay. Naomi?
I'd like to do
Oh.
one more thing just real quick, just
Yeah.
real fast. I take the skull in my hands, and I would like to Fata Morgana as much as I can from my experience into this crystal skull.
That's a good idea. That's
Yeah.
a really good idea.
Do the roll.
Oh my god.
You and me both tonight. Like it's just
You,
hunger.
Vaughn, you hear the beast. You're quite hungry now. Why don't we just, bail and, grab another woman? Drain her dry. You liked it last time.
No.
You know you did.
No, I didn't.
And you can roll your power.
Okay.
Naomi, on the way there, Gabriel is, he's not driving within the limits of the law. Let's just say that. Quite fast in an old car. Not anything particularly fancy about it. 6 with a crit one. You can definitely put a lot of shit into that. So, what do you want to talk about? He asks.
She kind of studies his physique more or less, like what his body language is he giving off, like facial expression, if he's agitated, anything on his mind.
Stressed.
Sorry?
Stressed, I think.
Stressed? Okay.
Well, he's looking out on the road, but he just seems like he's in a hurry.
Okay. She isn't quite sure. She's not exclusively combat oriented, but with this Darius, whoever, I intend to utilize him. I want to see what his capabilities are, and I've insinuated this quite a few times actually, even throughout our coterie, but combat is inevitable at this point, and training sessions are quite mandatory. I would groom him for any sort of what is potential, but at this point we need as many soldiers as we possibly have, and he just happens to be on our doorstep. So he's already outnumbered, so we're gonna have to I would like to leash him regardless. How would you like to, and I know there's anarchs and the Camarilla, we all know that bullshit. Let's put that aside for a hot minute here. Let's focus on war. And I know you'd be someone to kind of approach about this subject.
War with whom?
And that's my second question. How do you really feel about Mithras?
He's a fucking Ventru Winderlicker wanker, right? It's the worst of the worst.
Okay.
He's everything I hate.
Say.
Alex
I'm glad.
is cool and we have an understanding and respect, but Mithras is the worst kind of vampire.
Yes, I would like to say he's almost a bat level, you know what I mean? Okay, we're on the same page. I don't need to convince you. I was about to say they're gonna potentially take away
He
everything
smiles
you worked for.
and says, well, to me, love, there's no difference between the Sabbat and the Camarilla, but I understand what you're saying. I don't believe in the Camarilla. I believe in Alex.
Oddly enough, we're kind of in the same page. Frankly, there is no Camarilla without the Elder's support, really, if we really think about it. Help me help you. Training sessions. I want to utilize different weapon potentials. I know we're packing. I don't know where we get these grenades from, but we seem to have them. I don't know. Let's figure this out. Are we on the same page?
I think my theory is that Killjoy, he has some kind of bunker somewhere, like this huge place with just weapons all around, like crates of explosives. That's what I think anyways. I have not found it.
No, you'd have to talk to a Nosferatu about that, but...
No, it's fine, I respect it. He's a soldier, I think.
Yes, I don't know how far that drills, but we're playing the vampire game now, and we all know the hierarchy can be quite sticky. So, are you in? What do you have to bring to the table? I know you're a Bruja.
Certainly, I can slap a few people around, make sure their combat skills are what they should.
Mm-hmm.
And test
Who do you
people.
ultimately? Yeah, sorry. Who do you ultimately utilize? Are these humans, or because there's only very few of us left, really? Vampires, I should say. Kindred.
Well, you've seen how I can cause a riot.
Yes.
And I'm quite good friends with Adrian. She's another Ventru I respect. I don't know why that keeps happening to me, but
Karma.
yeah, I think so. But really, I'm just a bar owner, he says and smiles as you pull up to the bar. Do you want to come in and grab him, or?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what. Yeah, you walk in through the crowd. They move around Gabriel, not like JK, but more like here comes the owner. He walks towards Scarlett's, what used to be Scarlett's office, and he pushes the door open, listening. He's very careful, but you've never seen him be. Well, he's usually quite brash and imposing, and but he seems careful now. He's just looking in and whispering to himself, but you can hear it. Okay, no shadows, good. And he walks inside, and you see Josh in front of the computer, who's just mumbling to himself, but really hammering down on that keyboard quite fast. And Gabriel just looks at him and says, Josh, mate, and then claps his hand, and Josh looks up. You all there, mate? What's up? He just looks at you guys, shaking a bit when he stops typing. His hand starts shaking. Have you found it yet? He asks. Josh, there's no hatch. The prince needs to see you. And at the mention of that, he stands up like a soldier, really fast, with his hands on his back, and does the whole thing, and very comedic, and he does not really know what to do with the arm afterwards, and just slowly, still shaking, puts it to the side. Come on, mate. And he slowly walks towards the door, like he's very suspicious of something.
Yeah.
Kind of like luring a dog back into the house. It's is there anything you do there? He looks at you. He's smiling awkwardly with his wicked grin and his yellow eyes.
Yes. She smiles at him brightly and just kindly says, "We definitely missed you. I am interested to hear."
The dancer didn't know where she put me.
She doesn't know how to address that whatsoever, but just kind of accepts it. And I have someone, well, obviously the prince would like to see you in person. Would you like to attend his location, or do you need to finish up anything? It's rather urgent.
Gabriel, he looks at you and says, don't put questions in his mind. He just
That's
sort of
fair.
drags him along.
Come, sweetheart.
You drive back. About half an hour has passed, and
Okay.
you see Josh and Gabriel and Naomi come back into the room. Josh is shaking quite a bit, but he's smiling, and he bows to you, Alex, like full, almost head to the floor, arms aside, like, my king, he says.
Indeed, my detective. It's been a minute. We've been hearing things about your ongoing investigation.
Yes, my investigation.
It's been a while, and I would like to know I'd like to an update on the results of your investigation.
I feel like the king should hear the news about the location of the murders. And he switches back into his normal voice and says, well, I've found this a hole, but it's a hole and a hatch. Kind of like a can with a lid, but not really. And there are people sleeping inside it. Lots of people. And they're singing.
What are they singing?
The ancient will rise and devour us, and this is not in English. I have to say that it's in Aramaic, and I don't speak Aramaic. But they're
Could you repeat what they're singing, even though you don't speak it? Could you repeat it?
no, not the words, just the meaning. They're
JK kind of, she gestures JK over for a hot minute.
I'm going to say that Alex actually knows what Josh is talking about. The place. Or at least he feels like he does. That he recognized it as potentially the place where we found Judith?
nope.
No, okay.
He
Very similar. Maybe there's more than one of those.
when okay, this is might be weird.
Yeah.
He looks at Vaughn. You'll get it, mate. When the Dark Mother rose, then something was disturbed and things began to rise, but they're caged. They can't rise, but yet they're risen, and they're trying to fight the hatch, and I'm trying to fight the hatch, and nobody seems to be able to fight the hatch and get out or in or above or below. But it's definitely connected to the Dark Mother. There was a disturbance in the energies, and Victor, he nods at the mention of that. It's sort of like he goes to a whiteboard and he starts drawing what looks like a spider's web. And it's
Okay.
all of this on top of London, and there are this many, and he starts wiping some of them out, and now there are this many, and he starts drawing more in again.
This could be all symbols, and she actually points to the plant kind of secretively, discreetly.
Victor says, I believe he's referring to the expansion of the ley lines of late.
Okay.
Could that perhaps have something to do with me shattering the veil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that and the tree might, have triggered certain things. It's quite powerful energies that was put into this world.
And such ancient powers are trying to rise.
Vaughn is like transfixed by him drawing it, and he's just like saying, puts his hand up to the thing, and he's like, these are the borders of the mosaic. So go like put his hands like on it, like
Wipes it out a bit. And Josh says, no, and draws it back in. And then he hands you the marker one. You can draw next to it, he says, still shaking.
He looks like he's going through coffee withdrawals.
and Vaughn will draw.
He just seems super nervous, like the night at the bar, where he tried to figure like you tried to get Elaine out of jail. Like whenever something bad happens or is about to happen, he gets like this.
Yumi looks at her clothes and then gets changed out of the nurse's outfits to her regular attire. Sorry, go on.
You can see that Gabriel's, he looks genuinely worried when he's looking at Josh. Adrian is less bothered by all this. Her nails are the most interesting thing in the room right now.
Ooh.
Alex is unbothered. He's fascinated, but he's unbothered.
Is there anything in occult lore that can show like a rise of ancient powers or somehow ley lines fucking up prisons or something of the sort?
You can do an occult roll if you guys want to.
Okay.
See if you've heard about anything of the sort. We are about to end this though, so we're getting to the last pieces of clues.
Just a question for you in my chat to you, storyteller.
I'll look. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is intelligence in occult.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 for JK.
About as much as I can muster there. 3 for Alex.
Anyone else want to roll? Naomi?
Yeah, a minute, sorry.
I'll go for it. Intelligence in a call.
Yeah. Two. Vaughn and Naomi, you know what ley lines are. And as far as you know, they're kind of fixed. And there, like any energy currents in the world, much like there are in the ocean and the sky with wind currents and things like that. Like, it takes a lot to redirect and move them. Alex and JK, you have heard of ley lines being manipulated, but in your mind it would require something as powerful or ancient as the ley lines themselves to multiply them in the way that Josh is drawing on the board. Like, as far as you know, ley lines were formed at, well, ancient times, and these seems to increase in power. But that's brief mentions here and there, maybe conversations, you're not really sure.
Got it.
Victor, he says, it's not unheard of, but I've never heard about new ley lines being made in that magnitude. You can usually change the current of one, redirect it, make it connect somewhere else, but creating entirely new ones is not something I've even read of. I suspect it has to do with the primordial energy coming out of the plant. And if you tore a hole into the Shadowlands, that could also affect it. I think it's more the plant.
Agreed.
Not a problem then.
It's going into the earth.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else has tested this, but I can't turn on, well, I can, but it's really stupid to turn on Sense the Unseen in here.
Yeah.
Or even close to it. it's seeping into the walls and it's spreading to different levels, and if you stand outside the building and turn on sentiency, you can actually see the roots going through the building.
Is Nero still here?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's smiling at all this. Like, to her, it's just good.
Yes, and Alex is mirroring that as well.
Yeah.
He's like nodding and he's like, these are good energies, he says, in a very convincing way. He's not concerned about the manipulation or reworking of the ley lines themselves. He speaks with some degree of authority and says that he's quite certain that these are protective measures, and rather not something that we need to worry about.
Naomi looks to Alex and, well, if you can just quantify the growth of this plant, I would kind of like to. I feel like this might be a bit of a package deal. I might need to look at the tools that come along with this gift, because this has the rate of energy that could even tear a portal. Like, if there's spiritual roots that are connecting to different levels of reality, that can summon anything through it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
So
I definitely have to map it, Victor says.
yeah, that's a bit above my potential, but if I partake in whatever gardening project, to say the least, I would like to, and she looks to Nira, have the religious protection. I don't know what you do, ultimately. Forgive my ignorance. But I wish to not be harmed. I'm not looking to go on any spiritual journey anytime soon.
And Alex is going to look to Nira and say, I'm sure we can arrange that. After all, Naomi is helping us with the construction and the work outside that is helping to expand and transform this entire complex. So, yes.
Yeah,
Well, she is quite good with plants, she says, smiling.
Indeed. Indeed.
Victor just nods, and he says that, my prince, if I may, at some point have a look at that book, I may be able to tell you more.
In my presence, absolutely.
You do not need to worry about your religion with me.
But Alex would like to be there as he works with it. There's a certain degree of possessiveness that he has with it.
He looks at you for a moment quite inquisitively.
Yeah.
Can you do a composure subterfuge for me?
I can. I would like to, yes.
she actually looks to Killjoy and be like, Killjoy, I actually might have a project for you.
I can re-roll that if need be, but that's a 4.
No, 4 is quite good. But he just... It's like something hits him for a moment, but he's still not entirely sure. So he asks you very slowly, like it's like he's not committing fully to the question, but he says, do you want to be taught magic, my prince?
I would like to explore those possibilities, yes.
Well, I'll be glad to teach you. It takes a bit, but...
He's going to look over to Nira and nod towards her in terms of, you know, I would like, if it isn't, I would assume it's acceptable if Nira joins us in this endeavor.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, she has to. It's almost fundamental at this point.
Indeed, that's kind of what he wants to make sure. There's not just him and Victor on this. So yeah, he would like Nira to be there as well. So he says yes. I believe that is appropriate at this time, in order to understand these energies more fully, in all of their richness and multi-layered capacity. So. Yeah.
Before we end this, Killjoy, I need you to do a resolve and composure.
Yeah.
Get one of those.
She was actually going to mention to Killjoy. It's more or less not necessarily a project, but my ask of you is to be participating in whatever you find that you excel in the most, if it's not the benefit of just your own protection yourself.
One more time.
Oh. Participate. And you'll gain, again, in whatever way you see fit, but ultimately you'll gain some lower level of protection. That's it.
Okay. I can do that.
Did you make the roll? Or am I? There we go.
Oh, single success.
At the very end of this episode, you guys see first JK's eyes go white and then Killjoy's at the same time. What you both see is, well, Killjoy, you have seen her before, but a red-haired woman cut like this. She's very pale. Her eyes are as if made of flame. A dark flame. And she's looking at you, Killjoy. And JK, you feel the same thing. Like she's looking directly at you. You're not aware of each other's presence in this premonition. But you see her standing there and smiling, and she's turning to the side and then pointing to the ground where you see a statue. And then you hear, "I will come for you soon." And from the shadows, right before the premonition fades, you see a white-haired woman jump out from them in attack position, like she's leaping across with a dagger, and then you come back to yourself. And obviously all of you guys, you see them go into this state, but this is where we end the episode.